with the Climate-Friendly Agriculture Alliance, and making an undeniable connection between animal-based diets, agricultural practices, and climate change. So we've had some big wins with fossil fuel, like with the no coal and the Keystone. So now we're going to try to, next steps now to go with agriculture. And so this is a brainstorming session. And I'm going to have you in partners, and I'm going to give everyone some cards. Oops. I have a pen. And then every 4 minutes we're going to switch. Miguel asked me to do this. He said, will you try this? I said, okay. So then we're going to ask people to switch. And what we want you to do is to come up with, I just put some ideas here. Just some things we've done, like highway banners, the Dark Act, things, projects we want to work on, as well as, ideas for things like legislation. So it's just brainstorming of next steps, basically. Next steps, what we're going to do next.
So I was supposed to introduce her, so there's going to be like a total toss salad of things happening, but this is good. Eleanor Ash, as she's already mentioned, is the founder of the Climate-Friendly Agriculture Alliance, and there's a good web page. I'm not sure. I'm digitally kind of disturbed, but it's called the web page.
Yeah, and a Facebook page.
And a Facebook. Okay, both. So I've been to the Facebook page, and it is impressive. She has a master's in agricultural technology. Did I say that right? And see, if I hadn't said it, she would have told you. I sense a little whiff of humility. I have no such problem. But I won't, no, I do. I happen to be a medical doctor, also trained in public health, and member of Physicians with Social Responsibility, 350, CCL, very promiscuous about the organization with whom I'll join, because I want something to happen. And what we're going to do now is begin. This works like, Ellie, is there something else? I don't want to interrupt. So it's going to be like speed dating. And okay, so you don't necessarily have to go home with the person that you like most. However, you could. If there's any heavy petting, we'll have to ask you to leave.
I think it was interesting at the talk last night, one of the speakers mentioned about no fertilizer, and that was just so that kind of thing. I said, yeah, that would be a good campaign, no fertilizer.
But are you asking us to the thing we would do or the way to do it? Like, okay, no fertilizer, but are you saying a strategy for how we would get to no fertilizer?
Both.
Or just put it, oh, okay.
Both, either or, both. If you have any new ways to protest or new ways to legislate, and also what you think we need to work on, GMOs, Dark Act.
How does this work to share with our partners?
So we want you to partner up 2 by 2, and then in 4 minutes we're going to have you switch. And if you
But what do? We collaborate with our partner about a project that we are writing, that we will write down? Is that it?
No,
Or we write
you're
down
just
the-
you're talking with the person, coming up with ideas. You can also spend some of the time getting to know the person and just kind of networking too. So you don't have to be totally on topic the whole time.
But if you came up with a campaign you'd like to see.
Yes, we would like, and we're going to put those all together, so that would be good. Yeah.
Okay.
Where's that? Oh, okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, that's one aspect.
Okay. Agricultural warriors. Find another partner now. If there's a brief note you've written, one of you should save. One of you should save a car.
Or they both have.
both have cards.
If you both have cards, that's great.
Did you
Either
write
way.
anything down? I was the only one.
And if you didn't write something down, we have ways of punishing you.
Most politicians.
Okay, okay. Yeah, we have I'm on the farmer, we have a website, it's Facebook and it goes on. Yeah, I don't.
Ag warriors.
It was very
Breaking up is hard to do. But we need to grow, so everybody has a great idea to talk about it.
people that are really high soil health and biodiversity and into that.
You guys want a few more minutes? One more minute.
I just like to go on Facebook and George
Yeah.
just announced that his internship program is now accepting applications.
Okay, we're gonna let you do it any way you want. But we want those cards. You do not leave the room without the cards. And we're stopping at 20 till. I know I'm speaking, I recognize my voice.
He gave up on pressuring because.
In 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. It worked. Thank you, Krishna. Okay, so in about 4 minutes, we're going to start looking. 3 minutes? Not so much changing because that's not happening. You guys are all mating for life. Instead, we'll just want some people to talk about what you came up with on your cards. We have one that was already turned in because someone had to leave. And we'll go through and make some comments about it while there's still time. In fact, we should maybe start doing that right now.
Yes, I think that would be good.
So, what I have on my card, I have, well, 3 things. One is promoting plant-based diet. Number 2 is working on the SNAP, the supplemental nutrition program that, with those large subsidies, it determines what low-income mothers can provide for their children, and also what school children across the U.S. get in their lunches. And that one combined with the Farm Bill, which determines subsidies for farms. So I was thinking on the SNAP and the Farm Bill, a combination of demonstrations and online campaigns. And then the third one was just a YouTube campaign creating viral videos on food and farming and get them to take off on the internet.
Okay, this may have been the first one.
I just feel like we could have, is like maybe part of the Farm Bill idea, incentive programs for farmers to learn to sequester carbon in the soil. So incentives, so get paid for doing it. And then training programs for farmers to learn how to keep soil covered and to practice no-till farming.
And it would be great if there was something for soil. So like if you had a soil shed, because everyone lives in a different geographical area and the soil is different and the climate's different. If someone started a soil shed and then illustrated, well, in this 150-mile radius, you have the farmer, you have the person donating the compost, you have the manure, you have the fruit, the meat, the whatever you're doing, and you could connect in and support that circle. That would be really helpful, and it would be a way to feel connected in your own community to start a soil shed. Because it's hard to come here.
There is, in fact, that's what they call a food shed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a website or?
Oh, there's a lot of that awareness growing out there. There are food shed projects all over.
Yeah, well, it would be great if it could
I
be
think that's
illustrated.
basically what you're after.
Yeah, and if people could learn how to have that platform in their own community and then invite other people to connect without, oh, let me connect with this guy in Florida or Africa, I don't live there. So if you're like, oh, well, I don't have a farm, but I can donate my newspaper for your compost, and that compost is gonna go feed that organic farm down the street.
Sure.
And then you feel connected to a community in your own neighborhood, that would be really helpful. Especially for her, poor college student. She can give me her food scraps. Yeah.
I tend to take a systems approach to this climate issue. And one of the questions that comes up is, why are our politicians not doing the right thing that needs to be done about dealing with the climate issues? And what I've concluded, and other people have concluded, is that reading this, to summarize it in 3 easy words, is that business owns government. I can elaborate on that, but I don't have time. So the question is, how do we get business out of government? And what we've come up with is, instead of electing our politicians, is to pick them by random selection. Which is not a new idea. The Greeks used it 450 years before Jesus.
And everybody would have a chance.
Everybody would have a chance. They would only be elected or selected for 2 years or 3 years, so they wouldn't have to be raising money to get reelected. And then their name would go back in the hat. And chances are, 99% of the time, one of us gets selected. 1% of the time, one of the 1%ers that gets selected. We can live with that.
Yeah.
We can live with that. And when people like us got selected, chances are that we would probably be doing the right thing on climate and every other issue that politicians are beholden to business.
That's good.
And so when I think about what we can do to rein in climate change, and knowing the huge footprint that animal agriculture has, even higher than industrial plant agriculture, my role these days is raising awareness to people about the health dangers of an animal ag diet, the greenhouse, the climate change result of consuming animals, and their secretions are, and the cruelty in our very violent culture. It's got to come around, it's got to be part of the problem that we have as a culture that is so violent is what we do to these other beautiful creatures. So on a number of fronts, it just makes total sense just to talk to people on a specific action would be to have public conversations. People can hear you speaking in a public place. Respectful, nonviolent, public conversations in public places. Go to the last remaining public commons out there and have conversations with people, strangers or people who are your friends, and just make it loud and friendly and raise awareness that way. Doesn't cost anything. You meet some nice folks.
At the risk of being contrarian, I'd like to put it out there that there's a growing body of evidence, in fact, that shows that the health concerns from eating meat are intrinsically linked to how the animals are being fed, the wrong foods, corn, and that grass-fed meat, which is how the animals raised for millions of years, are in fact very healthful, number one. Number two, that ruminants are going to play an essential role in healing the land and getting the excess carbon out of the atmosphere. In fact, the role of ruminants is going to be the primary way, according to the latest research, and how we heal land to get the carbon out. There are a number of papers that are published on this, and I don't know if everybody in the room is vegan, and I don't know if they consider what I'm saying heresy, but in fact animals, grasslands around the world evolved over millions of years with that impact, and that is in fact how they maintain the health of the grasslands and how desertified lands around the world can be brought back. There's about 1/5 of the world's land surface right now that's desert. It is non-productive. It's not pulling any carbon out of the air. It's not growing any food. The way that these lands can be healed is specifically by reintroducing herds of ruminants, but raised properly. The big problem with how we do, I would totally agree with you and others that conventional agriculture is a nightmare. I've seen the film Cowspiracy. I agree with everything that they say about how terrible conventional factory prisons are for cows. But where I take exception to the film is that they do not show the other side of it, that with regenerative agriculture, in fact, it is the quickest way to heal land and get the carbon out of the atmosphere is by grazing animals properly. Alan Savory, the wildlife biologist who pioneered regenerative grazing, statement he made is that we should vilify management, not livestock. There's nothing inherently or intrinsically harmful or ecologically damaging about cows. The blame is with us in how we've allowed the cows to be grazed and managed and so forth.
Would you agree, though, that globally we're eating too much, especially red meat? Well, let's just say meat.
I think in America, I think it's safe to say that in
yeah.
most parts of the world where people are starving, I think they could benefit from eating more meat. And in fact, in order to heal the land around the world that's turned to desert, we're going to need to upbreed millions of ruminants in order to do the job for us, because there is no technology, there's no fairy dust that we can spread on 12 billion acres that's going to heal this land. In fact, we need to restore the ecological patterns that worked for millions of years until humans appeared and began tampering with and ultimately destroying a lot of the ecological systems that have been working effectively for millennia.
So
When you say reintroducing animals to those landscapes, you mean domestic animals? What's going to happen with the wild?
Domesticated livestock, in fact,
What's going to happen with the wild animals?
Right.
They're displaced by them.
no, in fact, they're not displaced by them. When you heal the land, when the animals are being grazed properly, I'll be really quick. When the animals are being grazed properly, they're only on one patch of land for a couple of days out of the entire year. The other 51.5 weeks, the wildlife comes in, and every place where regenerative grazing is being used, the wildlife habitats are being restored. So if there's another way to restore wildlife habitats in desertified areas, I'm all ears. Tell me. I don't.
Well, how many animals?
There's another talk right
scheduled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm done.
That's very interesting. It's good for contrarian and broker.
Thank you.
I agree with you. I'm familiar with that. I agree.
Thank you.
And we have, please give me your cards.
And if you want to take something out, thank
Okay, I'm going to try to something. Thank you. And I think there's another talk in